Board of Education is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Student member Joy Lee is absent. Member Nguyen? Here. Member Plancarte? Here. Member Jones?
Here.
Member Hill?
Here.
President Thomas?
Here. Are there any comments on closed session items? Seeing none, we will be recessing to closed session where we will have public employment, employee discipline, dismissal, release, conference with labor negotiators, NTA and CSEA, and conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, case number 223 CV034303 Bird versus US and USD. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the October 3rd, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Education. We have just returned from closed session and no action was taken. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we move on to the approval of the agenda. There's one item that I'd like to pull. Is there any items that anyone else would like to pull? Seeing none, if you look at 14.11 policy update, these are a list of board policies and administrative regulations with no changes from CSBA. However, there is one on that list, which is Board Policy 7310, the naming of facilities. And in examining that, I noticed that it does have changes from CSBA, and therefore it should not be on this list. So when we get to that agenda item, I will be asking that it be approved with the exception of 7310, naming of facilities. So please, would someone entertain a motion to accept the agenda?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll second.
Please vote. Student member, how do you vote?
Yes.
4 ayes. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to turn it over to the superintendent to announce our recognitions and celebrations.
Thank you, Member Thomas, board members, community, our friends who are here tonight. It is my great honor to introduce. I'll start with Rochelle Piowski, the principal of Newark Middle School. Tonight is their spotlight night, and I'm really excited for them to present. You can see they did their wonderful bulletin board in the back. But I do want to say before they start that I'm really proud of Newark Middle this year. There's a definite sort of palpable change in climate, and things are just so much more positive, and I'm really excited about that. So at this point, Ms. Piowski, if you would introduce your staff and give us your report.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dr. De Leon. We do appreciate that. Good evening, our esteemed board members and board member President Thomas and everybody else that is tuning in today. We do appreciate you. I'd like to introduce my administrative team. This is Jen Kim, my assistant principal, and Miss Maria Avila, my assistant principal. And I'm very, very excited to present today. So we're going to start off. Oh, yes, and you pointed out our beautiful artwork that we have this year. Very excited about that. So our numbers this year, our total enrolled students at this time is 1,009 students. And you can see up there we have 311 for 6th grade, 339 for 7th grade, and 359 for 8th grade. And so continuing on. So last year I presented about the success of our iReady with the 6th grade and our flex time, and we were happy to note that those flex time has continued. And we have expanded our iReady program for reading and math to all the grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Yesterday, we finished our second training for the staff. Our diagnostic assessment calendar has been updated, and we are ready and excited to see where this is going to lead us this year, because we did notice that the iReady data and the SBAC data are lining up nose to nose. And so we're excited about that we can really see some successful changes in all grade levels this year. We do also have our honor roll assemblies that are starting again. We would like to invite everybody here to our first one, which is October 30th for 8th grade, November 1st for 7th grade, and November 2nd for 6th grade. And Jennifer Sachs has helped us redesign our bumper stickers. They're absolutely beautiful, and so we do appreciate that. And just a reminder that our principal honor roll is 4.0 GPA, our gold honor roll is 3.5 to 3.99 GPA, and our blue honor roll is 3.0 to 3.49 GPA. Now, last year we did talk a lot about our suspension data and our altercations at the middle school. And so currently, and as Dr. De Leon stated, the energy is quite different this year, and we're very excited about that. And we have a reduction in both the number of suspensions and the altercation data. They're both down 70% as they were from last year. And so that's amazing. And so we're hoping to keep that energy up the rest of the year. And I am very proud of our athletics. I have worked at many middle schools, and this one has a very defined athletic program, and it gives a lot to the students. And we're excited about all the students and parents and community that participate. Currently, we have 15 athletes in boys basketball varsity, 13 athletes for boys basketball junior varsity, 17 athletes for girls softball, and 82 athletes for our co-ed cross country. And that's amazing for season one. We're wrapping up season one and our finals this week and next week. And we're starting in finalizing our season two, which is boys volleyball and girls soccer, season three with girls basketball and flag football and co-ed wrestling, and then season 4 with girls volleyball, boys soccer, co-ed track and field, which had over 100 participants last year, and golf. Very excited about all that. Again, we were able to hold on to all of our different electives as we had last year, and we're moving forward, trying to find those pathways to the high school. And so it's looking really good with our a different robotics class, our leadership class, our visual arts, yearbook, choir, band, Spanish, and coding. So super excited about the offerings for our students. For our school climate and culture initiatives update, this is almost the same slide as you saw last year, but I am proud to announce that, we have moved forward. I feel that last year was our foundational building year, and we're continuing to build, as every school does every year, to get better and better. But for example, we have an amazing leadership team. We had one last year too, but we are able this year to start up a lot of exciting things for our middle school students, such as our lunchtime activities that are coordinated every Friday for leadership. This year, our summer LEAP program, which were the incoming sixth graders, was successful, very successful, led by our counselors. And we did have a sixth grade parent assembly along with that. Our web project, Where Everybody Belongs, is super powerful on campus and continues to help out. We still have our social emotional learning with Character Strong. We have our safe assemblies coming in November, February, and April. Those were a big hit last year, which helped students talk about relationships and friendships and setting boundaries. Our 2-pay program is up and running, and we're going to have a conference next week with that. And our cost services team is very much on board, which gives our students services and social emotional awareness. If you'll notice on the bulletin board over there, on our Character Strong posters, we really dived into making sure that this year we have a word of the month, and we're really doing a lot of activities about that. This month is Perseverance, and so we're excited about doing things such as Unity Day and things of that nature this month. Our initiatives also for this year, which I talked about last year, we're successful in making sure that each grade level had at least one field trip this year. 6th grade will go to Monterey Bay, 7th grade will go to the Exploratorium, and 8th grade is obviously going to Great America. Thank you for approving that field trip. Our Puente College field trips are to UC Berkeley and San Jose State. We have our Multicultural Week scheduled for April. We already had our first Spirit Week in dance, which was Harry Potter on September 22nd. It was amazing. And we continue with our December 15th, March 22nd, and May 15th dances. We already had our PBIS grade level expectation assemblies, and I think they went over very well. We have our Music of the Holocaust Assembly and our seminar in January. And somehow on this, we already had an assembly with Bay Area Creative, thank you, Bay Area Creative, and they were amazing. Our kids really liked that. They brought poetry and dance to the middle school. And we already had our Title I assembly and back to school in-person night. And it was amazing how many people showed up for in-person. And so we are grateful for that. These are just some highlights with pictures, because pictures are fun. Lunchtime activities. Our PE department is very strong, and our kids are always eager to run the mile every Thursday, and so we have the Cougar Mile Club. They're so excited about that. I am super excited about the Reading is Fundamental program, still providing 3 novels a year to our students for free. We already had our first community bike mobile in September, and we were able to service 42 bikes. And so we're excited about that and hoping for another successful one in May. As you notice, I'm sure everybody was out for Newark Days. Our amazing advanced band students were amazing. They got first place, and a lot of people told me that that our band was better than some, not our Memorial High School, but other high school bands that participated. And so we're very excited about that, and we continue moving forward with music. This is an actual picture of our book fair from last year, and we do have 2 more book fairs scheduled this year, so happy. We have 2 hydration stations at the middle school. Super excited about that. This couldn't be any better, but today there's that little picture there. So one of the kids at lunch noticed that we were about at 5,000 water bottles saved, and so they all started lining up to fill their water bottles so that we could get to 5,000. Isn't that amazing? And so we are doing the water bottle challenge and during science classes, but this is really fun that the kids are excited about it. We had Club Rush, which was really fun, and we currently have 13 clubs going and more coming every day. There's our Harry Potter dance. It was really fun. And I was Professor McGonagall. It was awesome. I was going to wear my robes tonight, but maybe another day. And our web meetings in the libraries. And so tomorrow we have walk, bike, and roll scheduled in our parking lot from 7:30 to 8:10. We would love to have you join us. We have campus beautification on Saturday, this Saturday from 9 to 12. We would be happy to have you join us. We have our PTSA pancake breakfast. They're planning tonight as we speak for fall and spring. We still have our coffee with the principal, our school site council, our English Learner Advisory Committee, and our Parent Teacher Student Association. So we're excited about all these things that are coming up and everything that we can partner with our community for. So thank you.
Any comments or questions from board members? Joy?
I just wanted to say, this looks so amazing. Just thank you so much for all the work that you guys have been putting into the middle school.
Well, we appreciate it is a community, and we've had our teachers have stepped up, our students are amazing, and our community members, including our parents, have been wonderful. So we couldn't have done it, of course, without all of them.
I noticed that you have Friday activities at noon and the Cougar Mile on Thursdays.
Correct.
How are those, what's the impact of those? How do you think they're helping?
Well, for one thing, we do have separate lunches, 6th and 7th grade, but on Fridays, we combine those and we have one lunch. And so that, I think, is really helping our community be blended with the 6th, 7th, and 8th and making sure that it's a collaborative community. They're not as strong as we'd like it to be, but we're working on them every single Friday. We also have the students participate in the back, and we're hoping to hire our intramural coach very soon, but they're already free playing in the back, and so that's helpful. I think that it's the kids are looking forward to it because like we did musical chairs and, just fun things, music in the quad, they love that. And so, we're working on it. I think it's doing great. It gives them something to look forward to on Fridays.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Member Hill.
Principal Pichowski, thank you for the great presentation. And thank you also for leading with your progress that you're making in the academic area as well as in school safety, but particularly the academic outcomes and how you're focusing on that, because I really think that that's what we do to help produce great academic outcomes with our students, right? That's what is going to make our district great and what we really need in this community. So thank you for your focus there.
Thank you. I think that this will really, it's exciting for me. Maybe I'm the only one excited about it, but it was very exciting with the trainer there yesterday with iReady and, helping the teachers and, they're excited about it too. I mean, they're open to it, which is great, and they're really learning and everybody's in it together. So I think that's very helpful. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, I think it's really important that all of our students partake and take the iReady exams, because that'll help us make sure that we are looking at SBAC and how well they coordinate with the iReady test.
Absolutely. Data-driven instruction is the most important thing, in my opinion. May not be for others, but looking at the data, knowing exactly where we can target and focus it is instrumental in making the change in our schools.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Next, Superintendent, we have a spotlight.
We are actually going to postpone that till next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Student Board Member Report, Ms. Lee.
Yes. Hello, New York community. I would like to start with our upcoming events, and this month of October is filled with so many exciting opportunities for community members to come support our high school community. So, first, in the month of October, our anticipated homecoming season begins. Our top 20 nominees will be revealed on October 6th and will be celebrated on Friday, October 13th at lunch, escorted by their loved ones. The seniors who have contributed to our high school's community and culture will be recognized. Then from October 16th to 20th, the third week of October, New York Memorial High School will be having our Homecoming Spirit Week, the first one of the school year. Then in October 20th at 7 p.m., it will be our homecoming football game. I personally am excited to see who our homecoming royalty will be and see it, hopefully our football team bring home the win. Community members, I invite you guys to come out to our homecoming football game and join us. Next, on October 21st, Saturday, our school will be having our homecoming dance with the theme Enchanted Forest. Most would say the homecoming dance is a must-have high school experience, and tickets and guest passes are currently selling, so I highly encourage to go buy one before prices are raised. Next, I would also like to mention an exciting assembly that I would like to invite board members to come to is our skit assembly on October 20th, Friday. It's where the skit assembly is where each class performs a different skit. The ASB club officers in each class put in dedicated work into making each skit happen for their class and community members to come and enjoy. Next, our events open to the whole community, so I invite you guys, everyone, to come. So, first, we have our Cancer Awareness Home Football game, so make sure to wear pink if you do come, on Friday, October 13th at 7 p.m. And in case you didn't hear earlier, the homecoming football game will be on October 20th, Friday, at home ground. New York Memorial High School will be also hosting our trunk or treat on a Saturday, October 28th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're looking for car volunteers to decorate their car trunks in a fun and spooky theme and bring unopened candy to hand out to kids. Trunk or treat is also looking for selling vendors, so for those listening, please spread the word. If interested, search tinyurl.com/NMHS trunk or treat 23. And a recap of last Saturday, our ASB hosted our yearly Cougar Camp. ASB hopes the elementary schoolers had an incredible time interacting with the high school volunteers and participating in the games and activities. This camp is one of the rare times where students from our different elementary schools are able to meet and build bonds, making it such a valuable New York Unified Community bonding experience. And lastly, in honor of our college application season, I just wanted to give a shout out to our wonderful, irreplaceable counselors who have been really working hard for our seniors' college application. Ms. Venegas, Ms. Hernandez, and Ms. Torres, thank you for guiding each and every student at New York High School to reach our college goals. And that's everything for the month of October. I hope you guys are excited as I am, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Joy.
Great report.
Are there any other students wanting to give a report? Seeing none, we move on to employee organizations. I see Ms. Villa is here for NTA.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sherry Villa. I'm president of our NTA, so I'm not going to be speaking. We have other NTA members here who I'd gladly give up NTA time to let them have some time.
Are there other employee organizations? So are they for
Yeah.
public comment?
They have public, I think there's a cards for public comment.
Okay.
Okay. So any, is CSEA here or NUMA? No? Okay. So next, we move on to public comment. Public comment on non-agenda items. Brianna, and the last name is? Aker. Hello, Brianna.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to talk fast. Hello, my name is Brianna Aker, and I'm a former Newark student, currently a teacher at Cody Hills Elementary. I'm also a Newark resident. I own a home here with my husband, who's also a product of Newark schools. I'm here tonight to express my disappointment and frustration at the swift disregard and rearrangement of the TOSAs within our school district. Our district currently has 2 Title I elementary schools working with SEAL, a program that is hugely important for our ELL student population and is our DLI program at Schilling. SEAL is a program well known across the Bay Area, being used in Santa Clara, Evergreen, Berryessa, Oak Grove, Mountain View, and Redwood City, just to name a few. I was one of the first fully trained teachers in the district, and through countless setbacks, such as 4 SEAL schools turning into 2 with the closures of Snow and Music, COVID, and administrator turnover, we as teachers in the 2 SEAL TOSAs have put in countless hours of work to create units that are engaging, content-rich, and that honor our students and their lived experiences. By stating that our SEAL TOSAs are better serving students by being in the classroom is severely lacking a view of the big picture. You're taking a vital support for 2 entire Title I school sites, over 400 of our most underserved students, to fill a vacancy for 25 students at one of our most affluent schools. As a student who went to one of Newark's Title I schools and has now worked in one for 7 years, I see the pattern repeat itself over and over again. Supports and resources that are promised to our Title I schools get stripped and reallocated to other areas under the guise of equality across school sites. But what about equity? We cannot expect to have better reading proficiency, better test scores, better student outcomes if we do not properly invest in our students, especially our students who are most at risk. Our provided curriculum is just plainly not enough, and it becomes outdated quickly. SEAL is one of the most up-to-date and pertinent types of curriculum with proven efficacy. By not fully staffing the support we need to train and coach our teachers, you're leaving these teachers to flounder. I fully understand the teacher shortage and that we are in a budget crisis. Again, I'm a former student of the district. We've been in this situation before. The solution is not to strip the teachers of their resources that only drive our enrollment lower and already within and cause more teachers to leave the district. We need to be utilizing the incredible knowledge that's already within our staff to help build each other up and make our classroom teaching as a whole more robust, which is the intention of a TOSA position to begin with. This is how my class got a deeper understanding of number sense, with our math TOSA guiding me in strategies to help my kindergarten students organically discuss their observations in a mathematical context. I no longer have that support because our math TOSA was placed in a second grade classroom vacancy this year. It's frustrating and disheartening to want to do the hard work to help our students and constantly have that opportunity ripped away from you. Teachers in the district with specialties and skills to share will not take these leadership roles when the positions are not treated with respect. And I say this as a teacher who's led multiple professional developments for this district. Why try when we know the position will be pulled as a sub with no set schedule, with no respect of our commitment and skill set? It is much less expensive to pull from within than it is to contract an outside agency for professional development. And if the solution is to disregard professional development and supports as a whole, it's going to be a lot more expensive when we have to hire many more teachers after people leave where they feel their career is supported, respected, and honored. Our teachers and students deserve better than this. Thank you.
Thank you. Delight Evans Vasquez.
I can't read off my computer. I need my readers on. And can I adjust this?
Yes.
There you go. Okay. All right. I'm ready. So good evening. My name is Delight Evans Vasquez, and I'm here to address the board about the TOSAs, teachers on special assignment, being pulled to fill vacancies around the district. I want to start by saying that all jobs are important in the district, and I understand that filling vacancies is what is best for all students. However, I would like to speak to the decisions being made that don't take into account the whole picture. With our rapid turnover in upper management, it seems as though the decision to pull TOSAs does not account for the full scope of why we need them. Schilling and Coyote Hills are Newark Unified Title I schools, and we have a wonderful program called SEAL. SEAL stands for Sobrato Early Academic Language Model. Between our two sites, we have learned dynamic strategies that help us target our English learners while teaching strong units in social studies and science. Last board meeting, our SEAL contract was questioned. We currently have 2 contracts from SEAL for our 4th and 5th grade teachers and 1 for sustainability. The minimum coaching that these contracts call for is 1.5 FTEs. Those are full-time employees. When the decision was made to pull one of our coaches, we were not in compliance with our contracts. I am a 3rd grade teacher at Coyote Hills Elementary. I have completed my training for SEAL. SEAL calls for systemic change on how we address English language development. I am a SEAL teacher, and I want to point out that I have been personally impacted when you pulled one of our coaches. When we don't have both our coaches, we miss out on the opportunity to ask questions, to observe, and to plan our strategies for our units. The current unit in 3rd grade is about weather and its impacts. I know that I am trained, but without our TOSAs, how am I going to get the time I need to be coached on the strategies I just learned last school year? Board members, having the whole picture is very important. There is so much that goes into implementing SEAL with fidelity. Will this be another program that NUSD invests money into just to let it fall to pieces? I encourage the board to speak with the certificated employees of NUSD before making decisions that affect multiple school sites. When we pull TOSAs to fill our vacancies, we are putting a Band-Aid on a much bigger issue. While placing a TOSA in a vacancy helps the classroom of students, it affects 2 school sites with NUSD's most vulnerable populations. Please put into consideration how pulling our SEAL coach has affected my students and all of the students at Schilling and Coyote Hills. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Lupe Lopez.
Good evening, board members, administrators, and Dr. De Leon. My name is Lupe Lopez. I'm a longtime resident and a business owner in this community. In the past, I've been very critical of the bad decisions this board made and the cost our district has paid for these bad decisions. Today, I would like to thank you for selecting Dr. De Leon as our superintendent and continue the work that Dr. Triplett had begun. I've been keeping up with Dr. De Leon's work. She has proven to be highly qualified, highly motivated, and has made incredible positive changes. Dr. De Leon has reviewed and updated policies, changed the work environment, created and demanded expectations, which are a model for success. No doubt this will lead us to a great district. Thank you, Dr. De Leon, for making tough decisions but necessary changes. I also want to assure this board, Dr. De Leon has our community full support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see any public comment on agenda items. None from, okay. So we move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. De Leon.
Thank you so much. All right. So, for my superintendent's report tonight, I wanted to give the state of the district report that I reviewed with the board during our board workshop as a preview. Part of it is I want to make sure everybody is up to date on everything that's going on, but also I think it was great that the board requested that we give an update on goals and where we are with goals. So, even though I know you should never start a presentation with the hard truth and negative, I do want to talk about some of the urgencies we have in this district. So first I want to give everyone the facts or the numbers that we have. So district enrollment and staffing numbers. Our total enrollment is 4845, which is a difference from our projection of 59. However, at one point, we thought we were going to be well over projections by 100 students. What I have discovered is that there is a cycle where folks they enroll for us and then they get accepted to other places and they drop in the first couple weeks. And so that is what happened. We've received a lot of students leaving for other places in the first week or two. And so whereas we actually thought that we would be over projections, which we were really excited. You remember when I shared with you our numbers throughout the summer, we were really excited about that, and they didn't pan out. So we're actually under, which is continuing declining enrollment, unfortunately, as many districts are. Many districts are in declining enrollment, and we've been in declining enrollment for a while, which contributes partially to some of the budget issues. This board did make some hard decisions to close schools, which is just the worst thing to have to do. I can't even imagine, but keeping up the staffing with the declining enrollment is a really important piece. And so we did staff as tightly as we possibly could, not really being sure what was going to come. And luckily we did do that because the students didn't materialize. Our district staffing numbers, this is coming from our business services report that we have certificated NTA teachers. Yeah, Sherry's saying that's not correct. This is what was reported to us, but we would love to know your correct number as of now. We have 273 on our books, but we understand it's less. 240? 248 is correct. So we would love to see your list to check it against ours. Classified CSEA 185 and management 47.8. Yeah, go ahead, Marie.
I just wanted to remind everyone, these are FTEs, so there's a difference between the number of FTEs versus the number of employees.
Okay. So urgent challenges. We have a teacher shortage. That's an understatement. This is a dire situation nationwide, statewide, Alameda County-wide, and Newark-wide. We had many sort of retirements at the very end of the school year, around June 30th, and a few over the summer. And what we're finding is that nobody has teachers, and the districts, nobody's releasing teachers. So as we do get people applying and we give offers, often their district won't release them. And we're not releasing teachers at this point either. So we understand that. We do have some hope for some out-of-state people, so we're very hopeful. But anyway, these are our positions that are where we're at. There are 19. We continue to have 19. We are hopeful with a person for BGI grade 5. We've given an offer. They're out of state, but we'll hopefully get that filled. This is critical, and obviously there's no good solution other than getting full-time certificated teachers in these positions. So I want to talk a little bit about why the teacher shortage is so drastic. Because the teacher shortage also equals a substitute shortage. And you think, no, those are two separate things. No, they're related, because when you have teacher shortages that are significant, all of your regular subs who would be your daily subs, now they're being long-term subs. So then you end up getting a shortage of daily subs. And in fact, for some time, I think we still have 1.6 science position at the middle that is being filled with day-to-day subs. We have no one. So when teachers are out sick or there's a PD or anything like that, there's just no availability. We are very fortunate. We did hire some new subs last week, so we're hoping this will improve. But what I can tell you is that many of these positions have just recently, in the last week or so, been filled with a long-term sub even, as we got new subs in. And until then, they were being filled with dailies, and often, this is a little heartbreaking, but when we couldn't get dailies, we were filling many positions with period subbing for days at a time, meaning that students were having either a different teacher, literally a different teacher every hour or so. At the high school, it continues. We have classes at the high school, and I'm going to tell you that this breaks my heart, because our teachers are important. Our qualified certificated teachers are important. But it breaks my heart when I go to campuses, and I went to a presentation, an MCA presentation at the high school just last week. And the great thing is MCA was doing a pitch, and Jennifer really helped us out with this. Jennifer Sachs helped us out with this. They were pitching to us a recruitment video, because we are creating, with Mr. Burrell's help and MCA's help, we are creating a recruitment video. Our students are doing the video, and they're presenting in the video. And it was really great. This was their day to pitch their ideas. And one of the students said that, he said, this is really important. We wanted to do this because this was really important, because we need teachers. Some of us have had packets every single day in a class. Packets. They're packet learning. To me, I mean, you can ask him, he was there, I teared up during that, and I tear up retelling that, because it's not just one place, it's been other places. So anytime that we can have a teacher in those classes, I made that hard decision. And it's really just critical. I'm just trying to ask everybody to put themselves in the shoes of the parents whose kids go to a class that's being daily subbed or period subbed. It's not okay. And so we're doing everything we can, and we still have that in one classroom right now. So I want to thank, of course, our team and Mr. Burrell for all their hard work, and our labor partners for their hard work in trying to help us recruit. Everybody's really out there advertising, calling all their friends, walking door to door, like everything that we can do to try to get people to apply. But this is a shortage that is so much more global than just Newark. It's everywhere. So when we call universities and colleges, all of which we've been doing, they don't have anybody. Mr. Burrell, thank goodness, is on it. He said, like, oh, you have a new batch coming out. We want to be first, right? But there's just nobody. They're not getting the teachers who are applying and being part of the teacher prep programs. So it's coming out of the pandemic. Pandemic hit teachers very, very hard, and kids. We hear about learning loss. We have teacher loss. It's critical. And we're not attracting people back after the pandemic. And so it's really a difficult thing, and these are difficult decisions. And our intention is to never hurt anyone or to hurt kids, and to make this as quick as possible. Like, as soon as we can get teachers in classes, as we can hire, we will make sure that our TOSAs go back to the classrooms, or go back to coaching, which is what we hired them to do. It's what we want them to do. That we need our TOSAs. We need our coaches. We want our teachers to have that. And this has only ever been intended to be a temporary thing for us. And I want you to hear that. This is intended to be a temporary thing, and we're working very hard to try to do this, to try to fill these positions. So that's one thing. So that's kind of sort of what we're doing short term. This is a bigger long-term project. So at our next meeting, I'm going to ask Mr. Burrell to please share his recruitment plan for how we're going to try to avoid this for next year. He has a really great plan with a really great timeline. Part of that has to do with compensating our folks. Our teachers deserve to be compensated. They really do. And right now, if we don't compensate our teachers, we also cannot attract teachers. And that's a problem, a huge problem. We've got to really think outside of the box on how to do this, and hopefully can go back and partner with our wonderful NTA representatives in trying to look at some MOUs just for immediate, like, signing bonuses or something to try to get people through the door. But more of it's long-term. So we've got to look at compensation to be competitive, and we should also look at, I know down the line, workforce housing so that people can afford to live here. Here's what makes it difficult. We have a looming large structural deficit. This is a quote from the Alameda County Superintendent of Schools out of a letter that is on the agenda tonight regarding our budget. This letter is the letter where they accept our unaudited actuals, which is great, but she has a paragraph of concern about our situation of a $14.9 million deficit and how we need to cut. I'm hoping we can have maybe one more year because of some money that kind of fell out of our budget, but at the same time, it is a very serious situation that we are in. So I say that to say that as we try to write the budget moving forward, remember, we also need to try to do those things to try to compensate our teachers and try to hire new teachers, right? Which costs money. So we've got to probably tighten even a little more than we thought, because we got to do some important things. And so it is a perfect storm in the sense of the normally, the monies or the funding we would normally have or hopefully put aside for compensation it's not there. And going forward, we're in fact going to have to make cuts. And so we've really got to figure out, this is going to be some hard work, which is why, as we convened a district budget task force, which I heard had a lot of stakeholder representation. I know our labor partners were on the task force to really get input from our stakeholders about how to move forward with this looming deficit. What do we do? How do we keep cuts as far away from the classroom as possible? How do we compensate? All those things. So anyway, so I wanted to put these up front because this impacts everything. when teachers are having to give up their preps to fill in all day, people are exhausted, right? So anyway, so I wanted to make sure everybody understood how drastic this was. So let's go ahead and do our update of our student achievement. So I talked a little bit about part of our plan to increase student achievement, and I really need to update that goal to say a stretch goal of 5%, because we agreed that this is a stretch goal, and we understand very challenging in any terms. In the best of times, it's challenging. But we really need to talk about all the things we're doing. And so the recruitment plan is one, because we need to get teachers back in classrooms so that we can really focus. Some of our classrooms have had subs, and so and sometimes the subs don't have that background in that subject, like especially at the high school and the middle school. Our long-term subs, we're in fact happy to have a long-term sub if we can get one, but they often don't have any training in the area that they're long-term subbing in. So even though it's somebody who's there and can lead the class, the other teachers are helping them lesson plan every day, to be clear. So it's a lot on everybody. October 2nd, Professional Development Day. It was really great. Our Ed Services staff put together a training on using our data tools and how to go on Illuminate and pull data for their students for the first 2 hours. And then we released folks to catch up on their lesson planning and grading, because they have been giving so much time to the district. We have an English language arts and reading adoption that our teachers are participating in now. We are working very closely to expand our STAR Academy and include CTE foundational classes and an industry certification in Java, so that the students take a full CTE pathway. We really want that to be a real CTE pathway. Our counselors were trained on the college and career readiness indicators during our PD day. And then our special education teachers have been asking to have special education specific training for them, because sometimes the district overall trainings, they don't feel like it's always aligned to what they're doing. And so we provided them, our Ed Services Department provided them with their own special ed training on our PD day as well. So that's where we've gotten so far on that one. But of course, everything is connected. In Goal 2, safe, secure, and healthy learning environments. We have an attendance campaign. You've all seen the updates on that. Of course, that will help us, students achieve at higher rates when they're in class. We met with Hanover Research to help us develop the community dashboard that is part of this goal. They are a company that does projects for districts as a vendor when maybe we don't have maybe enough staff or the bandwidth to do it, especially small districts. We are trying to increase our mental health services with our partners. And then we also have a facilities initiative. And we are already behind on this goal to present an updated facilities maintenance plan. As you know, our maintenance department and Ms. De La Cruz and I have kind of worked all summer to keep touring the grounds, keep working and pointing out things that we really could improve, because our students and our staff spend a lot of time on our campuses, and we want them to be in the best possible repair that they can be. And so our business consultant, Mike Berg, is working with our director of MOT to try to get a plan for how we can really improve the condition of some of our sites. Because these are sites that were built in the 50s and 60s, and it takes time and a lot of money to keep them updated. So we're working on that. Parent and community engagement and communication. So part of the way, in my view, that we can be even more successful as a district is to get more input from stakeholders. We want our community to be involved. So we have put out invitations for I already mentioned the budget task force. And also my Superintendent's Advisory Council, which had stakeholders from all groups, and there were about 30 people there, and it was a really great evening and a lot of conversation and hard questions, and that's what we want. And our next meeting will be around starting to prioritize the kinds of things that are important to our community so that when we're looking at budget, we know really where that falls. Our Director of Special Education, Olivia Rangel, will be convening an inclusion task force of some of the people who already belong to her committees and other outside stakeholders to really talk about how we can get as many students as possible, students with disabilities or with IEPs as possible, to be as successful as possible in as much mainstream as possible. So this is something that I know that our district has been working on, and so she's going to convene a stakeholder task force to do that. We have implemented Parent Square. Really excited to see our use numbers are pretty high. One of the great things about Parent Square is that we can post documents, and we can post documents for people to complete and forms and all of those things. And we were really pleasantly surprised to find out that the minute we put out our Ed Benefits form on Parent Square, like we have now 687 forms on Parent Square that have been completed for Ed Benefits, just because somebody can sit there on their phone and just do it on their phone. And we're also sending out our district newsletter on Parent Square. We owe a second one for September that we're going to be sending out. And then also, I know Ms. Sachs has been working her tail off on that, and I have to give her huge kudos for all of that. And then she's also been working on our social media and getting as much information out there as possible, including our recruitment, our flyers, our job flyers, you name it, trying to get as many people as possible. And then lastly, Goal 4, fiscal health. We've got the budget task force. We have a budget business consultant. We've gone out for requests for proposal for auditors, a real estate advisor. After board input, we will not be going out for a financial advisor, but we also went out for RFP for legal services because our legal bills have been really high. And some of that has to do with we just have claims or whatever, but some of it is also because when you keep a lot of legal firms for a long time, then we're no longer competitive. So sometimes you go back out for RFPs so that they're a little bit more competitive. And then we'll be looking at our surplus properties as well, which is hence the real estate advisors to walk us through the 711 process, which is a legal process for deeming property surplus and potential of getting some revenue by lease from our schools that have been closed. So anyway, that is where we are so far for your update on goals. Are there any questions? You're most welcome.
Member Hill.
Superintendent DeLeon, thank you for the presentation. And I don't think you should apologize for laying out the brutal facts. And one of the things that we talked about even prior to us bringing you on board was in order for us to go from, good to great, as the book calls it, right? There's a number of guidelines, and one of the things is they call it the Stockdale paradox. And the Stockdale paradox says you must maintain unwavering faith that you can and will prevail in the end, regardless of the difficulties, and at the same time have the discipline to confront the most brutal facts, your current reality, whatever they might be. And so I think it's really helpful not only for the board, but also for the community to understand where we are. And again, we have a vision of where we want to go, but we have a lot of things that we need to accomplish. And the one thing that you didn't mention during our meeting over the weekend when we reviewed this, we understood the big issue that's facing us right now around teacher recruitment and how really it impacts most, if not all, of these goals. And so we as a board asked that we add that as a fifth goal. But the thing that I think that we just need to be really mindful of, and this is something that I think many people have learned as they've gotten jobs and have had bosses, is that when you put something on somebody's plate, oftentimes you have to take something off. And so I think that we need to be really laser focused on these goals, and particularly on the recruitment piece. And so, because again, as you say, it's a vicious cycle, and if we don't have teachers in classrooms, kids are not learning at the rate that they need to. We're increasing the burnout among our staff, and so we have to solve that problem. But what I would like to ask the community is, we need to help the district in being successful here. And I think that although the community can't help with the issue of bringing in certificated teachers, we can help in terms of getting people signed up as short-term subs. And I really think that that's probably the fastest, and I suspect the maybe the best quality solution. And if you and Mr. Burrell can help us get the numbers that we need, and maybe Mr. Burrell can cover this in his upcoming presentation. If you can tell us how many long-term subs, or I'm sorry, short-term subs we need, I think that everybody on the board is willing to go out and knock on doors, and we would like to get the community go out and knock on doors. I think this is a problem that we can help to solve. And the reason why it's so important is that because you've talked about the budget crisis, and so and all these things are connected together. But if we try to tease it out, we have a number of families and kids that are not coming into our district, and consequently that creates declining enrollment, and that has a budget impact. And if we can bring back those students, then for every student that comes in, we get additional revenue. It's going to help us ultimately have the money to pay the teachers, to provide the benefits, et cetera. But the only way that we're going to get that is by focusing in on academic outcomes. And the only way that we're going to be able to achieve that is to have the teachers and have them have their prep periods, et cetera, and the resources they need. And so let's eat the elephant in bites, right? We can help with the sub piece, but then I think the next thing is how do we, an appeal to the teachers is we're going to try to get you the help that you need, but we really need your help to really try to figure out creative, innovative ways to raise our academic outcomes, because I think that's going to solve the long-term problem, and we're all going to benefit. Sorry for being so wordy.
Thank you. So, anyone else? Thank you. Okay.
I just had a quick question. This might not be but if we need teachers, why are we looking for long-term subs? Because
We're actually looking for both. We need teachers and subs because we're struggling to find either or. We're looking for subs, and then if we need them for a long term, we put them in because we don't have a teacher, but we really just kind of go out for subs, and then if we have somebody who can do a long term and we need a long term, we put them in. But we need both.
Mr. Burrell?
I was just going to say, our first and foremost priority is to fill our teaching vacancies, and then short-term solutions would be long-term subs. But good question, thank you.
And if I could just add, the challenge is that for a long-term teacher, right, a permanent employee, it's hard to recruit in the middle of the school year. And so, because there's contracts and a variety of things. So if there's somebody that's on the bench, right, meaning that they don't have a job, you can bring them in, right? But if they currently are at another school, they have a contract, they can't get released from that contract. And so in the short term, oftentimes we need to get what's called a long-term certificated sub until we can get to the recruiting cycle where, they can finish their one-year contract and they can come work for us.
In addition, at the state level, there are several bills. I think they either are on the governor's desk for signature or they have been signed that would raise the amount of money that we are allowed to pay to retired teachers to come in and teach. And if they meet certain criteria, we can waive the 180-day waiting period for teachers. So that's another avenue I'm sure Mr. Burrell is going to be looking into to getting some of our recently retired teachers into our classrooms. Thank you.
Then for the teachers, like the vacancies right now, are they like already posted? They're all posted and we're just like waiting for people to come find them and apply. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joy.
And then I have a second question. It's what are we doing to like keep our teachers like in our classrooms and like not leave? Because I know a lot of people are like leaving, or at least they all left. So like that's my question. Yeah, or like
Yeah, so that's part of it, is trying to take care of the urgent business now and focus on our priorities so that we can not just compensate, but get our coaches back, make sure we have resources in our classrooms and all of those pieces. And so I think the reason that I put those two slides first about the urgent piece is that we've got to figure out the budget piece to be able to do all the things we want to support our teachers as well. And so it's all of those pieces. Yeah, and so we want our teachers to have goals. We want more TOSAs. We want to do all of that. So it's there are many variables. Yes.
But just short term, right? So obviously there's a lot of things that we need to do to help the teachers. But short term, we just need to give them back their prep periods and their time to work on lesson plans, et cetera, rather than having to cover for positions where people are out. Because that's then taking time away, that's creating burnout, and then those people that get burned out, they're more likely to leave. So that's why this personnel, this recruitment issue is so vital, because it impacts everything.
Right. Good questions and good discussion.
Great question.
thank you so much.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you for asking those questions.
Yes, great question.
Next, Superintendent, staff report on ACoE.
Yes, Ms. Dela Cruz, thank you.
Thank you. So back in June, we submitted our budget to Alameda County Office of Education, and they've reviewed our budget and sent us this review letter, which Dr. De Leon had mentioned in her report. The good news is that our budget and our LCAP was approved. However, they did point out some concerns regarding our multi-year projection, and we do have a deficit in the next 2 out years, but we are going to be working with our task force to address that. And first interim is coming up, and hopefully we'll be able to present some of the plan at that time. And the goal is that we will have a plan by February to present to the board regarding how we're going to address the deficit in the 2 out years. The other good thing is we did have a surplus in last year's unaudited actuals, so that will certainly also help our multi-year projection. And all of that should be part of the update during the first interim report.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to recognize our administrators. This is the week of the school administrator coming up. And
break it down.
And so if we could have our board members, beginning with our student member, pull up the resolution and maybe start out with 2 of the whereases so we can read how much we appreciate you.
So read the first 2. Okay. Whereas leadership matters for California's public education system and the more than 6 million students it serves, and whereas school administrators are passionate, lifelong learners who believe in the value of quality public education, and
whereas the title school administrator is a broad term used to define many education leadership posts, superintendents, assistant superintendents, principals, assistant principals, special education and adult education leaders, curriculum and assessment leaders, school business officials, classified educational leaders, and other school district employees are considered administrators, and whereas providing quality service for student success is paramount for the profession, and
Whereas most school administrators begin their career as teachers, the average administrator has served in public education for more than a decade. Most of California's superintendents have served in education for more than 20 years. Such experience is beneficial in their work to effectively and efficiently lead public education and improve student achievement. And whereas public schools operate with lean management systems across the nation, public schools employ fewer managers and supervisors more than public and private sector industries, including transportation, food service, manufacturing, utilities, construction, publishing, and public administration. And
whereas school leaders depend on a network of support from school communities, fellow administrators, teachers, parents, students, business, community members, board trustees, colleges and universities, community and faith-based organizations, elected officials, and district and county staff and resources to promote ongoing student achievement and school success. And whereas research shows great schools are led by great principals and great districts are led by great superintendents. These site leaders are supported by extensive administrative networks throughout the state. And
whereas the state of California has declared the second full week of October as Week of the School Administrator in Education Code 44015.1, and whereas the future of California's public education system depends upon the quality of its leadership, now therefore be it resolved by the Governing Board of the Newark Unified School District that all school leaders in Newark Unified School District be commended for the contributions they make to a successful student achievement. So can we codify this by voting on it? So I guess I will make the motion that we accept the resolution for the week of the school administrator.
I will second.
And it's seconded by Member Jones. Please vote. School board member?
Aye.
School board member votes aye.
5 aye.
5 ayes. Thank you very much. Next, we move on to the consent agenda personnel items. There is the personnel report. Member Hill?
yeah, can we pull the personnel report?
Okay. Member Hill, would you like to speak to this?
Yes, please. Hold on one second. Okay, so I have a question about the PAL. And I'm sorry I didn't get this question in earlier, but under the section additional duties for certificated employees, we have 2 employees that are being identified as Apex teachers, and it's my understanding that they do have existing positions. So I just wanted to make sure, given some of the issues that we've had with Apex in the past. So 2 things. One is that, so Apex, you're required to be certificated in the courses that you're overseeing. And so I want to make sure that both of those individuals have the proper credentials to oversee any Apex courses. And then secondly, want to make sure that we have a system that tracks the difference between their normal jobs and then any additional hourly work that they're doing to support Apex. And so, and you don't need to provide status on this right now, but I'm making the request that we make sure that those 2 issues are addressed.
Would you please make a motion for the?
So I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the PAL uh, with the condition also that in terms of APEX support, that any teachers that will be providing APEX instruction are credentialed in that area, as well as that we have a system in place that differentiates their normal pay for their normal jobs versus any additional hourly that they do to support APEX.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Ms. Member Jones. Please vote. The student board member does not vote.
So the student member just had a question.
Huh?
She has a question. Turn on your mic.
I was just wondering what an Apex teacher was, because there is only 2 Apex teachers on there, and they were the counselors.
Right. So APEX Red is the online instruction program, right? And so, according to the basically the rules that govern those online courses, if you're going to be, each course has to have a essentially an instructor, and that instructor needs to be certificated in the subject matter that is being delivered online to the student.
What would they be like?
So for example, like I'm a teacher, right? So I have a social studies credential.
Yeah.
If I decided that I wanted to be to do some additional support for APEX after hours at my school, I could be the proctor or the person that provides oversight around any social studies classes that are delivered through APEX. However, if there was a calculus class, I'm not certificated in math, and so therefore I could not be the proctor for that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so did we?
Thank you.
We have a second. Please vote.
While you're voting, can I make an observation to the panel?
Yes.
Just for the board? As you saw at last board meeting, we had 6 additional substitute teachers that were brought on board, and if you look at this one, we have another 8, so it's a continuing growth.
Thank you. That's very good news on the
I
panel.
think our efforts are continuing in that concentrated area, and we have others still in the pipeline that we're working on, so. Yeah.
Thank you.
For all your work on that.
Yes. Okay, I previously pulled 14.11. Is there anyone that would like to pull any of the other consent agenda non-personnel items? No? So I would ask for a vote on 14.1 to, no, 14.2 to 14.10.
Are we just pulling the 7310 from 14.11?
Yeah, but I think we should vote on it separately.
Okay.
So
I'll make a motion, or do you want me to make a second? Sorry.
you can make motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve 14.2 through 14.10.
I'll second.
It's been made, a motion has been made and seconded. Please vote. And the student board member, how do you vote?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Please vote, board.
5 aye.
Motion passes, 5 ayes. Thank you. So in 1411, I would like to make a motion that we approve 1411, the
With the exception.
six board policies and ARs, with the exception of Board Policy 7310, naming a facility, which should remain as it already is in Newark's policy book.
I'll make a motion to accept, right?
I already made the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll second your motion.
Motion's been made and seconded on 14.11. Student member, how do you vote?
Is it okay to ask questions right now?
Sure.
Yeah. So the naming of the facility is not being approved then?
No,
Is that so?
the reason I pulled it is the naming of the facility does not fit what the agenda says. They say it's board policies and administrative regulations with no changes from CSBA. If you look at our 7310, our 7310 was approved after CSBA's, and so it is not the same as CSBA, so it doesn't fit in this category. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
You vote yes, okay. Please vote.
Ms. Sachs, do we need to change how it's stated for our vote?
I don't think you can see it, so I update it, say the recommendation is that the Board of Education approve the updated board policies and administrative regulations with the exception of 7310 as reviewed by the Board Liaison Committee.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Very good.
5 aye.
5 ayes. Thank you very much. Well, next, it's a very early hour. Good for us. So we move on to committee reports, announcements, requests, debrief, and discussion. Can we begin with you, Joy?
Anything from 15-1?
No, thank you, everybody. Oh, I just wanted to reinforce the mention of how we do need teachers on our campuses, and I really hope that, like everybody's saying, that we can really think of out-of-the-box ideas because having teachers really impacts my learning and impacts my peers' learning, and also having long-term subs is good, but I feel at least at school, like long-term sub doesn't get the same respect as a teacher does. And so I just wanted to once again reinforce that we really do need our teachers. And when I was my freshman year, I didn't have an actual teacher, and it really impacted my learning so much. And so I really hope board, you guys will really be on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Plancarte?
I don't have any committee updates, but I did want to just say that I really do appreciate all of the efforts that are being done to get out there and really talk to our community and really rally around trying to help solve the situation with our teacher shortage. And my throat's a little dry, so I think I'll stop there, but thank you so much.
Member Jones?
Let's see, we had the SELPA meeting, a regional, I just always refer to it by SELPA, and then it comes out when we get the notice as regional something, and I apologize for not getting the name of it properly, but it was a good meeting. It was pretty quick, and just going over and getting some updates on where things are with the final financials being passed, and getting the census data that is pertinent to the information for how many students are part of special education. So that was good information. It was interesting to learn how many students that we had in Newark. I believe it was 783, something about 783. So that was good to learn. And they've got Special Olympics coming up throughout the year. The first ones are happening in November, and I will have the dates, specific dates for those next time.
Thank you. Member Hill?
Yes, so on Thursday, we're going to be having our first induction committee meeting, and I forget the fancy term for what we call it. Is it like EBIC, or I don't know what we call it. Is it EBIC? Yeah. So we're going to be having our first EBIC meeting this Thursday, and on this coming Tuesday, we're going to be having our next audit committee meeting, And the good news is that we're going through a selection process, an RFP process for an auditor. And Ms. Dela Cruz, I believe, has gotten 4 responses back, right? So for RFP responses, and so we'll be looking at those and doing sort of a first cut on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, and then we'll decide what the finalists are, and then we'll probably invite those finalists back for in-person interviews and make a decision shortly. And the goal is to have a decision by the first board meeting in November. Oh, and sorry, one last recognition. So it is on this past Monday. It was National Custodians Day, and so just want to thank all of our custodians and support staff for all the things that they do. And I can tell you that teachers really appreciate getting help in having our rooms cleaned and keeping the campuses beautiful. So thank you for that.
Well, I'd like to show off the shirt that I got because I went to the CSBA Roadshow in Castro Valley last night, and there was a great turnout of superintendents and school board members and staff, department chairs from CSBA itself. The CSBA president and president-elect were also there. It was a wonderful evening of presentations. I learned a lot. They talked about Williams complaints and the changes in how complaints can be filed. They talked about bills that they're watching and that we should be watching. They also covered budget issues that are coming up. And they have a new department called the Research and Education Policy Development Department, where they're gathering these huge data sets to analyze. And so, for example, using these data sets, they're able to rebut some of the false spending narratives that are floating around. So anyway, they talked about upcoming legislation, and it was very, very helpful. I'm really appreciative of the partnership we have with CSBA. We're CSBA members, and I'm just looking forward to more conversations, maybe with the superintendent, about availing ourselves of some of the services that I learned about last night. Thank you. Superintendent?
Yes, so I've spoken enough tonight, but I just want to thank this board for everything they do for our community. Thank our community, our teachers, our staff, everyone. It's our parents, everybody. Teachers, it's hard times, but we thank everybody for everything they do for kids every day. And then just want to remind people that tomorrow is our walk and bike and roll to school event, and we have 5 sites where they will be celebrating, and that's BGP, BGI, Che, or Coyote Hills, Kennedy, and Newark Middle. And so if you would go on Parent Square, I think it's been posted there, and they have various sites for different schools, and hopefully we'll see many of you there tomorrow. Have a good evening, everyone.
Yeah, I know that you're going to Kennedy. I'd invite you to stop by my house and we can walk and bike up there together.
Will do, absolutely.
And we have to be there at 7:30.
30, so should I be at your house by 7?
No, 7:29.
It's not far. It's not far? Okay.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to extend the meeting.
No.
Till 8:30? No, please, a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, please vote.
Do I vote?
Oh,
Yes.
Student board member.
Not yet? All right. Yay!
Okay.
We love that.
Bye-bye.
5 ayes. Hey, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Nice meeting.